Hey guys, we have a new soundbar from Prism. This is their newest soundbar, which is a tier down from the latest Dolby Atmos Symphony soundbar. From my understanding, a lot of people have complained to Prism about being a bit too expensive, which is kind of funny. Based on our review, which you can check out down in the link below, we actually found that the soundbar that they released, which is the Symphony, was actually a really good price for what you get. It's not often that at this price point you get support for Dolby Atmos and actually have that many speakers. So this is the cheaper alternative. It's Prism Ripple. Let's open up and see what we've got inside. It is a full kit, so it's not just a soundbar. You do also get a subwoofer. This is where we have the chunky box on the side. So what I'll do is I'll take the soundbar out. I'm just going to move the box away because it's big, really big. This is a soundbar itself, and it definitely does follow the same design features as the Symphony. It has less speakers, especially if you can look on the side. There are no speakers on the side, either side. And it has, I believe, 2 less speakers on the top. It still has 2 upwards firing speakers. It has a few front firing speakers, and that's really it. So this system is a 3.1.2. We have 3 speakers firing forward, 2 speakers firing upwards, and we have a subwoofer in this box here. So let me just get it out. Let's do it. Let's go, savage. And this is our subwoofer. Just like on the Symphony, the subwoofer has a bottom firing speaker. I looked at the specs, and actually the subwoofers seem to be different between Symphony and Ripple. There's only slight difference, but they just have different frequency response. But well, we'll try out and see. Let me just put this to the side. Just like on the Symphony, we have the same buttons. We have the power button, we have the input, and we have the volume up and down. On the back, we have the coax and optical. We've got the little USB. This is mostly to update firmware, I believe. We got an auxiliary out. We have probably the most important connection that you should have is the TV eARC and ARC, so you can support both formats. And this is where you use to connect to your TV. That way you can share your volume control and turn on the soundbar on and off with your TV remote. Basically, you set this up and throw away the remote from the soundbar. And then you have HDMI 1 and 2 in. These are HDMI 2.0, which means that if you had a modern console and you want to have a TV which supports 120 Hz, well, with this you cannot. You're maxed out at 4K 60 Hz. So bear that in mind. If you have a high-end TV, make sure that you connect the console directly to the TV and then use the eARC to connect to the soundbar for sound. Lastly, on here we also have the little shotgun power connector. And that's really it. You can actually mount the soundbar to the wall, just like the other unit. So you have connectors on both sides. It's a little bit lighter than the Symphony, but the whole kit is only like 700 grams lighter, so it's there or thereabouts. And I think it is actually about the same width as well. In the accessory box, we have the wall mount. We have the HDMI cable. We have the power cable, as well as some batteries for the remote. And then we have the manual with the remote. So it's pretty straightforward. Basically set up in a few minutes and start using. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna set this up, we're gonna use it for a bit, and we're gonna give you a bit of an insight on what do we think about it, what are the positives, what are the negatives, and anything you should really be looking out for. Now that we have tested the soundbar, we can get over a few observations, starting with the looks. Even though this soundbar is actually higher than our existing Samsung soundbar, but due to its rounded corners and generally smaller size, it actually looks to blend better on our console. I like that both soundbar and sub are using user replaceable and pretty standard cables. So if you want to do some convoluted cable management, you can always just buy longer or shorter cables, depending on your needs. Once we powered it up, we noticed how responsive the remote is. The changes are snappy and almost instantaneous. Do note though, it is an infrared remote, so you have to point it at the soundbar. The soundbar does support Bluetooth as one of its inputs, so I would have preferred to have Bluetooth enabled device for better remote control functionality. But we have to remember this is a budget-friendly setup. Ripple has multiple audio profiles available, such as movies or music, and I can confirm that using the relevant mode for content being played provides the best listening experience. However, personal preferences may vary. Additionally, after setting up the soundbar to my liking, I prefer to dim or turn off the display completely. As we use an eARC, the TV remote controls the volume, rendering the soundbar remote unnecessary. On that subject, you can adjust both bass and treble using a remote for your liking. By the way, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Now on to the performance itself. We found that just out of the box, the soundbar has a reasonably good sound and produces surprisingly clear dialogues. This is one of the benefits of having center-mounted speaker. Personally, I think that's one of the biggest quality of life improvements that you can get from a soundbar. The simple ability to hear what is being said throughout the action sequences is amazing. We did find that the subwoofer is a bit hard-hitting. In action-packed scenes, it was actually a bit of a distraction, but this is where the adjustments come in. You can just lower it ever so slightly, or if you really want to annoy the neighbors, bump it up even higher. For my ears, turning the bass down by 2 points and upping the treble by 2 points improved the performance and made audio a bit more coherent. Prism advertises this as a Dolby Atmos soundbar with multidimensional sound, and while it is capable of outputting Dolby Atmos content, it creates a somewhat limited spatial feeling. We tested this by playing some movies and shows and got pretty similar results. For example, in the first episode of The Last of Us, there is a scene with a bunch of planes and helicopters going over the house. It did not feel that the sound was coming from above our listening position, but certainly coming from above the soundbar, rather than directly at us from the front. As a comparison, we have a pretty high-end Samsung Q950A soundbar with the rear speakers, and the effect was much more prominent, but it costs almost double, and you need to have a room big enough to place the rear speakers behind you. However, if you have the space and crave for the extra realistic movie experience, then it may be a good idea to look for a second-hand high-end set. When it comes to music, the strong bass may be a bit of an advantage here. It definitely resonates. The main sound is reasonably crisp and you get a decent amount of dynamic range. Again, when we did the same test on the Samsung, we got better soundstage, where if you close your eyes, you can picture approximately where the certain instrument is playing from. But then again, it is a much more premium system, so take that as you wish. Here are some samples. Do remember this is only a relative comparison, since there are many variables in between. The microphone we're recording the sound with, your speakers or headphones, video compression, and so on. For the most accurate sound test, we would suggest you go over to the showroom and experience it live. Hey, I got a confession. Been losing all momentum. Hey, I got a confession. Been losing all momentum. Hey, I got a confession. Been losing all momentum. Just because it's easy, that don't make it better. Just because it's easy, that don't make it better. Just because it's easy, that don't make it better. I wanna take my hands deep down in the dirt, take a walk along the street if I'm feeling dessert. All of this could be just doesn't work for me. I wanna play with fire, let me get hurt. I wanna take my hands deep down in the dirt, take a walk along the street if I'm feeling dessert. All of this could be just doesn't work for me. I wanna play with fire, let me get hurt. I wanna take my hands deep down in the dirt, take a walk along the street if I'm feeling dessert. All of this could be just doesn't work for me. I wanna play with fire, let me get hurt. Can we take it back to 95? Before we had this drama in our lives, just staring at the screen every day and night. Can we take it back to 95? Before we had this drama in our lives, just staring at the screen every day and night. Can we take it back to 95? Before we had this drama in our lives, just staring at the screen every day and night. I miss the rush of living in real life. Go get your DeLorean. To summarize, Ripple's sleek design and responsive remote make it a solid addition to any home entertainment setup on a budget. The soundbar's multiple audio profiles provide a tailored listening experience, while the adjustable bass and treble allow for customization to personal preferences. Though the subwoofer may be a bit overpowering in action-packed scenes, the overall sound quality is clear and enjoyable. While it may not be the life-changing Atmos experience, the Prism Soundbar and Subwoofer combo is still a great option for those looking to enhance their home theater experience. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up and subscribe for more. We'll see you guys in the next one.